Hey, what's up? This is Odolena, and today I will talk about something a little bit different. Yesterday, I was at one really cool event happening in London. It was the London Reel Summit. So, if you haven't watched the London Reel, it's a really interesting show on YouTube. There's a podcast, and its creator Brian Rose invites some of the best performers, some of the best coaches, people from the personal development space, from fitness, from all kind of very interesting and very different people. And the goal of the whole podcast is kind of personal development, finding out ways on how you can be better than what you are today. And the whole theme of the day was about personal transformation, how you can basically transform yourself to what you want to be in life. So today I want to go through what I learned and what the different guests were and give my opinion on the content. So first of all, we started with Dandapani. So Dandapani is someone very easy to spot. He's this monk, like Indian Hindu priest with three white marks on the forehead and a red dot in the middle. Is like very easy face to remember. He has been a monk for 10 years, so he was studying and was a student in engineering apparently, but then he found that he wasn't happy with what he was doing, so he went and became a monk for 10 years on Hawaii, in a Hindu temple, working with the guru. He learned a lot of things from him and came back to the world. So he talked a little bit more about focus. I think I found his presentation very interesting because he was talking about cultivating focus in your life, and this is something that I'm very interested in now because with my responsibility getting more and more in work, and also trying to sustain my channel, my blog and everything, I really try to find a good focus in everything that I'm doing. So he was talking about the awareness. So there is difference between mind and awareness, and basically your mind is always the same. It's just your awareness is changing. So when you're happy, you focus on the things that make you unhappy. And if you focus on being happy, you basically focus only on the things that are making you happy. So basically, when you control your focus, what you focus on, and your awareness, you control your thoughts and you control your mind in a way. So the mind doesn't change, it's basically our focus changes, and for us to be able to focus on the right things, to have the good and to feel good, to perform well, we have to train this. And actually, training focus was one of the top takeaways from his talk. He was telling about 3 things that you have to do in order to make sure that you sustain your focus. So first, always finish what you begin, including making your bed. According to him, making your bed means that you finish what you have done the day before. You can take it in different ways, but basically whatever you start, try to finish, because this makes you feel good, and basically your mind helps you to focus on the next thing. Otherwise your focus is going back and forth. Then try to finish it better than expected, so try to make it a little bit better, which I really like, and then try to do a little bit more than you thought you were capable of doing. So every time stretch yourself a little bit more. And this is basically, you can start doing this by cultivating it in 3 or 4 non-negotiable occasions in your life. So let's say while eating, while talking to your partner, while doing something that's happening all the time, every day, non-negotiable. Try to make things basically to finish, to make them a little bit better, and to do a little bit more than you thought you could do. Interesting thing that he mentioned, he's dressed like a monk. You see this guy, like they even bring like a special chair for him to sit down. It's like a small table with a white cushion or like a mini mattress on top of it. It's really weird. So he sits only on this, like he doesn't sit on a normal chair. He has like the look like with beads, and like with these brown khaki dresses. I don't know what's the original name, but basically he resembles like a proper priest. However, it's interesting because he was talking a lot about money, and a lot of people have criticized him because he is basically making a lot of money out of meditation and out of coaching and everything. He basically charges crazy fees for everything he's doing, and they ask him like why they should be free, like he's not based on your beliefs. And he says, no, on the contrary, it shouldn't be free because like the things that I want to achieve, like the impact that I want to have, in order to do this, I need the money. And he was talking about the relationship, why a lot of people, especially people who are dealing with kind of spiritual teachings or anything related to personal development, sometimes they're afraid of talking about money. And not only them, like all of us, afraid about talking about money, asking for money for their services, just don't want to appear greedy for some reason. But he said that this is like most of the people have a difficult relationship with money, and this is why most of the people don't have much money, because basically you have to accept that in order to do anything in this world, you will need the finance, you will need the money. And this is something actually I struggled away a long time ago. Something that I see actually from Google, that there is a bunch of people that, for example, they see it like we are a search engine company. Why are we doing ads? Like ads, this is like so degrading, selling and just selling clicks and getting these advertisers to appear on our results. But the reason is that everything that Google has been able to achieve actually is coming from the money that people are spending on ads. And other than that, like we wouldn't have been able to do anything of the amazing other products and things that are happening. Second speaker was very, very strange. It was a guy called Mantak Chia, and he is a Taoist healer, so like a traditional Chinese medicine. And he was talking about things that I couldn't really understand, because I'm not really into that field, but he was talking more about energy, your body, how different parts of your body, like when you laugh, you create something like fire in your belly, and actually your whole belly and digestive system is super important for your health in order for you to have longevity and to live longer. Basically, digestion is kind of the main factors. He talked also a lot about sex and basically like how to do sex in the correct way. Like most of the things that he was talking about, were part of a lot of other, I'm assuming part of a lot of other teachings and information, which I haven't really researched much, so I cannot say like whether it was good or bad. It was just very new to me, so it was interesting talk, but it was a bit difficult to follow, just because his English is a bit difficult to follow, and also the subject is so I'm so unfamiliar with that subject that it just made it very difficult for me. Then we had Brian Rose, who is actually the person who runs this podcast. He's a really interesting guy, and he talked a little bit about himself, so I didn't know much about his own story, but yeah, he told us how he was working as a banker and basically felt very miserable, and he started doing this podcast, trying to meet with these amazing people, and this helped him uplift his own life. So now he has a great business. He has like these courses where he's teaching people how to start their own business, and he really loves the podcast. It's helping him to meet really great people. He told me about his system of actually achieving things. So he described it as kind of like a loop, where you have 9 steps, and every time basically when you have achieved something in your life, you have used one of these 9 steps. So the steps are getting an inception idea. He talked about like reading good things, watching good podcasts like his podcast, then basically visualizing your future, imagining what will be the best outcome of if this becomes reality, paying the price to action, so making sure that you are actually doing the things that you're supposed to do in order to move further on this goal. Then finding a mentor, creating a plan, which is very important and something I realized I don't really have. So this is where I think it got me. And then taking action, being held accountable, have someone to be accountable to, fight resistance because you always have resistance, whatever happens. And finally, accomplish, get it finished. So again, related to what Dandapani said, like just whatever you're doing, make sure that you finish it. You don't leave it like this. Then we had Dan Pena, who was basically the cornerstone of the show. He was the person that most of the visitors knew. So he's this billionaire businessman. He made a lot of money in oil, and now he is basically famous for his rants on YouTube and other channels. He said that he recently got banned from Facebook, but he's basically talking about why our generation is gone. He says it in a more cynical way. He curses a lot and people love that. They just laugh. Like most of his talk was really random stuff that were just put together. So Brian was asking him questions and he was getting off topic all the time, just ranting about stuff, making people laugh. His talk was really crazy. But I think the main points which I was able to extract from it is basically the world is now paralyzed by lack of self-esteem. So this is the reason why he thinks that our generation is, and particularly millennials, are plagued by lack of self-esteem, fear, what people gonna think about them, avoiding difficulty, always seeking comfort, like avoiding anything that will take them out of the comfort zone. Fear of speaking our mind. So he talked a lot about political correctness, why he was banned from Facebook. Basically, he called Mark Zuckerberg a thief, and maybe he said also other things. I haven't really checked what he was been saying recently, but yeah, he was saying that basically now, even though you have all these channels where you can speak your mind freely, a lot of people are afraid to actually say what they want because of the whole mania about political correctness and people being silenced because they just have a very radical, very different mind, very different to the common, or because they have a very different opinion to the common opinion. And yeah, basically lack of taking action. He was saying like this whole event exists because you guys don't know how to take action. You just need all these motivational speakers and events in order to get yourself to do what you were supposed to do. Like we didn't have this in the good old times. He likes to do this kind of grandpa style, but the guy is really funny. He's really great, and he's 74-year-old, so he's quite old, and he's very active. He talks well. It's just like it felt a bit random to me, the rest of the things that he said, and I couldn't really find the whole theme in his talk. And the final fourth guest of the event was Marisa Peer, who I didn't know before that, but I discovered now, and I'm a really big fan. She was the only woman on the panel, first of all, but also she's a phenomenal therapist. So she works with teams, with top athletes, politics, royalty, CEOs, and she has a lot of experience. So she does hypnosis, all kind of techniques to enhance performance. And what she talked about was really, really great. She talked about the mind. So our mind always thinks in the present, so it does not understand the impact of our actions actually will impact the future. Subconsciously we don't get it, we only live in the now. So that's why it's so difficult for us to force ourselves to do the actions that don't give us immediate rewards. So that's why whenever we talk to ourselves, we always have to say in the present. Let's say I'm getting fit now rather than I'm getting fit in 3 months, or I'm gonna get fit next year, because the mind just doesn't understand that, and it just postpones the actions that you have to take. And then you have to focus on what you want, not what you try to avoid. So if you focus on what you try to avoid, again, like Dandapani said, whatever your awareness is focused on, this is what you see, what you feel, and this is what happens in your life. So instead of focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you want. and just ignore the rest. Like just aim for what you want. Second on that subject is make yourself familiar with what you want. So for example, if you want money, make yourself familiar with money, make yourself comfortable with money, as a lot of people think that they want money and this is going to solve all their problems, but subconsciously they are uncomfortable with the thought of being rich. It's just there's so much stigma around being rich, being wealthy, aiming for wealth. That you have to familiarize yourself, maybe try to see people who are already wealthy, how they live, visit areas where they are, what is their life like, so that it becomes familiar to you and it becomes natural for you that you are gonna be one of these people. Let's say for Donald Trump, when he lost all his money, it was natural for him to come back because this is what was familiar to him, was having a lot of money. He was not familiar with being poor, whereas a lot of lottery winners, for example, they're only familiar with being poor or average, and then suddenly they get all this money. They feel that they have to get rid of them, and subconsciously they get rid of them, and most of them actually are broke in about a year or so after they have won the lottery. And then also think that whatever you want wants you. So let's say if you want to be healthy, the health also wants you. If you want to feel good, this also wants you. Main focus, what she mentioned, is that actually most of the depression and bad feelings that we have are actually within us, that we say to ourselves subconsciously that we are not enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not educated enough, and we postpone the actions that we have to take, or we just never take them. So that's why she said that we have to kind of continuously repeat to ourselves, I am enough. So that's kind of her tagline, I am enough, I am enough, I have everything I need to be, and I am enough to do anything I want to do. So then besides I am enough, so kind of I have all the strength, all the persistence, if I don't know something, I have the ability to learn it, I am enough to actually go through this and to turn myself into the person I want to be. And then one major thing that people actually get stopped by is being different, which is a paradox because we are all different. So being different is normal. So each one of us is different. But in the past, if you show your differences too strongly, you would risk being kicked out of the tribe. And we have this kind of old prehistoric brain which is still functioning on that level, so we are really afraid of showing our difference. And actually in the modern world, if you are different, your difference is actually going to help you stand out and actually do a lot of great things for you rather than actually damage you. So this is all from the summit. It was a fantastic day, really, really interesting. I'm definitely going next year. I think they already opened the dates for next year. Super, super good content, really recommend it. And yeah, this is all from me for today. A little bit different video, but I'll be back with the next video on the holiday season theme next Sunday. So subscribe to my channel, comment, share it, like it, and I hope to see you very soon.